Ohio. Kampala, the capital of Uganda, near the northern coast of Lake Victoria, the administrative center of the central region and of the same name two districts. Etymology. The city is founded in 1890 as a fort on the hill of the same name. The word Kampala in language of Luganda is meant by antelope. Geography. Kampala is located in the southern part of Uganda, to the north from Lake Victoria. The city lies on hills heights about 1200 meters. Near Kampala and to the south of it there is Mengo, the capital of the Kingdom of Buganda in the 19th century. Kampala, the national transport hub, through it runs the railroad connecting Kasizi, Uganda, to Mombasa, Kenya. Near the city, respectively in 10 and 34 km. The located port belt through which water communication across Lake Victoria and the international airport of Entebbe is carried up. History. On December 18, 1890, the Captain Frederick Lugard on the hill Kampala to the north from Mengo, residences of Kings of Buganda, founded the outpost designed to serve as the headquarters of the Imperial British East African Company. The raising Lugard of flags of the company and Great Britain over the hill Kampala marked the official beginning of the British colonial management in Uganda. In 1900, when the post of the Royal Commissioner in Uganda was founded, the residence of the first official in this position, Harry Johnston, was located in Lugard's fort. Presence of bodies of colonial administration led to rapid growth of the population of Kampala, by 1906 which reached a point of 30,000 people. This year Kampala received the status of the township. Among inhabitants there were families of the Asian contract workers occupied on construction of the railroad of the Kenyan and Ugandan Railroad. Natives of Asia not only joined the population of Kampala, but also opened in her benches and workshops. The arisen density of the population, however, forced the colonial authorities to transfer most of the institutions of Kampala to Entebbe, on the coast of Lake Victoria, where the residence of the governor of Uganda was already located. Other colonial offices were postponed from the hill Kampala for the neighboring hill Nakasero. However, the name of the settlement followed them, and the place of the basis of a fort of Lugard of steel is known as Old Kampala. Trade quarters followed administrative, and soon Nakasero turned into the business center of Kampala, which up to 1972 was almost completely controlled by natives of Asia. In 1897 in Kampala the Hospital of Missionaries was founded, and the colonial administration opened Mulago Hospital. Since the 1920th years the training medical center of Makara College. Since 1913 the planned town planning began, and by 1937 in Kampala the water supply system, the sewerage and electric lighting were laid, and some central streets were paved. In 1946 in Kampala there began work the Ugandan Broadcasting Service, the first service of broadcasting in the country. The European residents lodged on the top tiers of hills Nakasero and Kololo, Asian, on the lower spurs of Nakasero and in Old Kampala. The African workers generally lived in the neighboring villages, coming to work by bicycles. The closest suburb of Kampala with the African population was Tukatva. Development of the African quarters of Ntinda, Neguru and Nakava in east part of Kampala began only in the 1950th years. In 1949 Kampala, which population by that moment reached 58,000 people, received the status of the city. In 10 years in the city, the African mayor was for the first time elected. Servano Kulubia became him. By 1962, when Uganda gained independence, and Kampala officially became her capital, the population of the city reached 200,000 inhabitants. The same year, on the project of the British architects of Pitfield and Bardsner on Hill Nakasero, the building of Parliament of Uganda was built. In 1968, when in structure of the city 9 neighboring villages were incorporated, the population of agglomeration of Kampala exceeded 330,000 people. Political shocks in Uganda didn't lay aside Kampala. As a result of so-called fight at Mengo, Edward Mutsi's power was overthrown and the Institute of the Monarchy of Uganda is liquidated. In 1972, regime of Idi Amin, who came to the power, expelled from the country of Asians, and as a result the population of Kampala became almost exclusively African. Amin's overthrow in 1979 laid the foundation for the civil war in Uganda, during which Kampala became the place of frequent terrorist attacks and massacre. Despite it, the population of the city grew at higher rates as a result of inflow of migrants from rural areas of the country. The number of refugees from a so-called Triangle of Luvera was especially big. As a result, in 1994, the estimated number of residents of Kampala exceeded 1 million. After the occupation of Kampala in 1986, were invested heavily by forces of the Movement of National Resistance in restoration of infrastructure and civil services of the city. This process was sponsored including the World Bank and the European Community. On July 11, 2010, in the city there was a large act of terrorism. 76 people died. Climate of Kampala: the subequatorial, softened by quite big height cities above sea level. There are 2 damp seasons. Expressed March-May, and not expressed from August to December. And 2 short dry seasons. January, February and June, July. The average annual maximum in the city varies from 25 C in June-August up to 28 C in January-February, and the average minimum fluctuates in the range according to 18-16 C. The absolute minimum makes 12 C. The heated air masses from deserts can sometimes reach Kampala, and then temperature can rise up to plus 36 C. Population: Kampala, the largest city of Uganda. According to a population census of 2014, 1.507 million people lived in the city. From a bottom, more than 40% children and teenagers aged up to 17 years inclusive, and less than 2% aged people of 60 years also or more senior. In Kampala there were 414,000 households. A half of inhabitants at the age of 18 years and is more senior was married. Kampala, not iron and highways. The international airport is in 35 km from Kampala in the city of Entebbe. In the city there are head offices of the largest national credit and financial organizations, including State, the Central Bank of Uganda and Development Bank of Uganda, and also the leading private commercial bank of the country, Uganda Commercial Bank, Mortgage Credit Institution of Housing Finance Company of Uganda, and Stock Exchange of Uganda. Works since 1997. Here branches of the international banks: Barclays, Citibank, Bank of Baroda are located. Kampala, the location of the headquarters of most of the major national corporations. The industry in the city is developed not so well, and on this indicator Uganda concedes to Jinja. Nevertheless, in Kampala the tractor-estratal plant and also the enterprises of food, furniture and metalworking industry works. As Kampala is located in the center of the most developed agricultural region of Uganda, the city became the center of export of coffee, tea, cotton, tobacco and sugar. Kampala, the main cultural center of the country. Among scientific and educational institutions in the territory of the city, the Makerere University. The status of the national university since 1970 is founded in 1922. Ugandan Society. The modern name since 1933 is founded in 1923. Institute of Agricultural Researches. 1937. Institute of Agricultural and Livestock Products. 1950. The Research Center of Forestry. 1952. Research Corporation of Cotton. Cultural institutions in Kampala are presented by the Museum of Uganda, including a unique collection of musical instruments, Public Library of Uganda. It is founded in 1964. A National Theatre. In the territory of the city, the Nakivubo Stadium acting on Villa Club, the finalist of the Cup of the African Champions and the Cup of CAF, is located. The School of Fine Arts and Art Gallery work in the city. On the hill Kasubi there is a tomb of monarchs of Buganda. In the city a number of mosques, including the National Mosque of Uganda and the White Mosque of Kabula, is located. 1941–1951. In Kampala a number of Hindu temples and Christian churches also works. Among the last, the Anglican Cathedral Namarim and Catholic cathedrals of Rubogi and St. Peter are most noticeable. In 2013 the local Orthodox community joined the Russian Orthodox Old Belief Church. Arrival makes about 600 people. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.